schedule is to attend our focus group. We first just wanted to start with some introductions. My name is Leslie Spencer. I'm here as a graduate student, and this focus group is for our class project. Currently, I work at New River Valley Community Services as a therapeutic day treatment provider. So my interest is focused in the schools.
Hi, I am Leslie's co-facilitator. I'm Alicia Angelo, and I'm also a grad student and working on this as a school project. I'm currently an intern at a school, so I'm interested, working as a clinician, so I'm also interested in what we can do to help improve the community and things involving the school. I would like now for each and every one of you to go around and introduce yourselves and what part you have in the community.
Well, I am Stephanie Whited. I work for the FAPT chair. I help organize and run family assessment and planning teams. I do the meetings. I have fundings for clients who do not have Medicaid or other insurance to fund services. And I also like to request for goal changes and psychological testing.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm Jess Smith. I'm the principal of Radford High School. I provide leadership and administration and advocate to provide the best possible opportunities for student growth and development, both educationally and personally.
Thanks for joining us.
I'm Vicki Collins. I am the director of Radford City DSS, and I provide quality services and advocate for residents and responsible for responding to the emotional needs of the residents and their families.
Thank you.
I'm Greg Payne, principal of Dalton Intermediate School, and my interests in this focus group are similar to Gus. Yes.
Thank you.
I'm Rob Graham. I'm the Radford City Superintendent. I'm administrator in charge of all the Radford City public schools.
My name's Chris Taylor. I'm with NRVCS and the Crisis and Family Services, and I'm involved with the school-based therapeutic day programs throughout the New River Valley.
Hi, I'm James Pritchett. I've worked with most of you already. I'm the Child and Family Services Director at New River Valley Community Services, and I basically oversee all child and family services.
I'm Thad Beasley, and I'm a school resource officer for the middle and high school.
Thanks for coming.
I am Lynn Jacobin, principal of Bellevue Elementary School. Taken trainings on mental health and behavioral disruptions within the school system, and I advocate for students. And I've got the students and families.
Great. Thank you. Sure. I'd like to do a brief summary on why we asked you to come tonight. We are meeting tonight to discuss the community issues within the city of Radford and what we can do to potentially gain services to help minimize some of the needs. For instance, in both, in the school system, we feel like more behavioral awareness between a parent and child or child and a student would be more helpful, just so everyone can be on the same page on what different behaviors happen in the classroom and what we need to do to accommodate to those students that have them. And that is why we're here, and we would like all of you to give us some of your insight in where you feel things need to be changed or advocated for.
So we will start with our question agenda, which would be, what are the community strengths? And if you could think about this in regards to the school system, if that's possible.
I see a lot of this in, especially in New River Valley Community Services. I see that since we all live in a small town, we're very tight-knit, and it allows us to focus on our community. I see a lot of clients going through child and family services, and we tend to, I guess we care. That's the best thing I can say is we care.
I agree with you, James. I think that I see a lot of advocating for clients, and I think that that's where that close-knitness comes from.
Yeah.
We care very deeply for our children and for our clients.
From a school perspective, I think it's kind of neat that we have a major university here in the city. So there's a lot of opportunities. There's access to academic material and kind of cultural experiences through that for our students at multiple levels.
I think just the fact that it is part of the Newer Valley, just having the service board involved in the school system gives a lot of opportunity for the students who might need that service. And just working together with that agency, I think, works well to partner with the students and whatever needs they might have in their families too. Great. Yes, Chris and James have had a lot to do with incorporating the school-based program and TET. So working with the principals of each school to make sure that they have the staff needed there to accommodate.
Alright, thank you for your feedback. I'm going to move on to the next question. What are the strengths of some of the families in our community? I have someone I'd like to ask. Mr. Coman, with being the principal and already taken some behavioral training and being involved with your students that have behavioral outbursts in school, what would you say is a strength that families have that attend your school?
A lot of strengths. Do you have a lot of involved parents, or are you seeing parents who are completely disconnected from their children? What would you say?
They're pretty involved.
Well, that's good to hear. I know I've heard from Mr. Payne that at the intermediate school, middle school, that there's a lot of disconnect and parents do not seem very involved or interested about what's going on with their children. So I think that that's something that we can work on.
Okay.
Thanks, Mr. Payne.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on. Unless someone else has a strength that they would like to share that they're seeing in their area of work or agency. All right.
Well, actually, I know I just oversaw Claremont Therapeutic Day Treatment Center, and I've been seeing a lot of parents there. Actually, they're really, really into the growth and development of the children who are over there. Obviously, these children can't be in a regular school setting, but it's really nice to see the strength of, I guess, how close they are into wanting their children, even though they're not in a regular school setting. They want them to succeed, and I see that as a strength.
Yes, and there's several students from Radford City placed at the Claremont Day Treatment Program. And we think that that's definitely a benefit. So, okay, great. All right. So problems within the community or any issues that y'all are having with your agency
I think
or school?
maybe some of the reasons why the families aren't involved with their children in school is because they can't make it during those school hours. So maybe they have to work outside of the Radford, or they're attending some group during school hours that doesn't allow them to be there. Maybe they're a single parent. So if there was some way that they could be involved in areas and times outside of those school hours, or somebody was available to keep them updated on their child outside of that time frame.
that can go either way with parents who have access to resources. And so, for instance, if the principal calls a parent in, they may have a job and they're not allowed to take time off, even if it is a major issue with their child. I have heard of that actually from several principals. And then you may have parents who do not have access to resources. They may be home, but they don't have transportation to the school. And maybe they would have to walk to attend that meeting, and they could not get there in time. So I think on both ends, there's some concerns.
Yeah, something I want to add to that, from prior experience, if a child's parent, like she said, can't come to the school and there's no other option because this child's refusing to do something and just wants to sit there, especially for those in elementary level, we normally give them 3 choices, and if they just still don't want to comply, our last choice is to have the school resource officer sit with them all day, and that's what has to happen sometimes. So, I feel like if we were able to get more parent involvement with outside, services, that might help the relationship between the parent and child and understanding the behaviors that they're expressing, maybe like any of the mental illnesses that they might have, and getting them more on board to help them be able to, achieve in school and have that academic development.
So what I'm hearing, which is really coming from Mr. Payne, is maybe that this connection with parents, we need to get them more involved. So how do we address this issue? Does anyone have a suggestion or suggestions?
There's been some success getting parents involved in after-school programs like 21st Century. We have 21st Century here in Radford City Public Schools.
I'm not aware of that. Maybe a principal or someone else could comment.
Okay, so in general, after-school programs.
Radford does have beans
and
and
rice.
rice.
Beans and rice,
Inside,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe that's similar.
maybe similar. So, right, like I knew all along, we have beans and rice in Radford City Public Schools. But yeah, I think that kind of like Mr. Payne was alluding to, maybe that's an opportunity for parents to be able to come and participate outside of school hours a little later in the day, if that's something. It doesn't really address the transportation issue, but it maybe expands the time a little bit that they can be there.
I know through Beans and Rice, transportation is not necessarily a problem for the children because I'm assuming there's a bus that will come, I think at 5 p.m. every afternoon to take the kids home. So it may be that the parents have to figure out transportation to the school, and then they could ride the bus home with the kids afterwards.
I don't know if that would be an option, but if not, we're NRVCS is partnered with the transit, Rapid Transit. I don't know if there's a way, if clients were already receiving services at the agency, if they could somehow partner with that service as well to kind of facilitate to and from appointments and meetings and things.
I actually think that that's a great idea. I know Claremont utilizes the Radford Transit for
Yeah, we do.
the children. So that could be something that is advocated for.
Well, I think having an open dialogue with parents would be beneficial for families as well. I feel like every time a school notifies or talks to a parent, it's always bad news. Like, what about, I think that it would be important for maybe teachers to have an open dialogue with the parents, like say, hey, your child did well in here, I think it's important to stress that. So instead of just having, the negative comments to the parents, get your parents more involved, let them know that your child is doing well here in, in math, science, and let them cultivate those skills, and having that open dialogue would really help build stronger family foundations as well,
So
just
maybe,
within the community.
so maybe implementing some positive reinforcement for the behavioral issues, maybe that may help
Yeah.
alleviate some of that.
Mhm.
Good idea.
I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
What if it was talked about or implemented where teachers within the elementary, middle, and high school systems had office hours, kind of like professors do, that are after school, that parents and parents and students could come and talk about issues either in the classroom or with learning or anything like that. Just kind of to go off of that with the open dialogue.
I like that idea a lot, and maybe the counselors who are based in the school, so including the guidance counselor as well as the mental health side. Lost my train of thought. So including the mental health professionals in as well, just to make sure that it's like wraparound services to address all of the issues.
I think that's a fantastic idea. That's something that we can definitely build off of
Yeah.
and make practical solutions.
And that they're made aware of those changes, because if nobody knows about those hours, or nobody knows that the phone call they're receiving might be a positive one, they don't answer it because they're used to seeing negative ones. There needs to be a way of getting the word out that these are changes that are being made or additions to that.
Yeah, we can utilize that the small town feel being to get that word out easier.
Great. I like that. Okay. Thanks for your input.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like we've already addressed one of our other questions, which was what problems do we currently see and what's already being done for it. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one, because I feel like this one's really important for the services that we implement on a daily basis. Is what kind of diversity do you feel exists within the community, especially in trying to provide services to students in the school system? Do you feel like religion could be a factor, or
Definitely socioeconomic diversity, and that's the college here. There's a lot of variation.
Yeah, I know from being in the elementary school, there is a lot of students that, because of economic status, they have to live in apartments or housing in the Radford, university community. So around college students, they, talk about the drunk kids, the fighting, trying to break into their houses, and just imagine what that could do on a child. What do you feel, we could do to help them cope with that living arrangement? That's something we can look at.
Get Radford University to be able to take some responsibility for educating the students about respecting this community.
Yeah.
And then not just all be on the community to react to the university.
Right. I agree. That's a good one.
Does anyone else have anything to add to that?
I kind of feel like if the students at the university were more plugged into the community in general, they might feel more invested and be more likely to be respectful of people who live here. So, I'm not exactly sure what programs exist, but finding ways to connect students to school system. I know that in the Beans and Rice program, some of the undergraduate and social work students come and intern there, so I know that they already have some relationships in the community. But finding ways to bridge the gap.
Student teachers as well have relations with Beans and Rice as well. They go in more and try to do more of the teaching base for those. So, I'm on board with what you're saying, is kind of getting, the Radford students that attend Radford University involved with the actual overall City of Radford community to understand that it's just not students here. There's other people that were here before them that we need to learn to adapt to. Is that kind of what you're saying? Okay. Does anybody else have anything else for diversity existence or diversity issues within our community?
So, summarizing this focus group, it sounds like we determined that we should involve the parents, possibly by, what was your name again? Oh, the school resource officer. So getting the parents involved by maybe having office hours as college professors would have, and as we just discussed, the observations that the children are making of the community, which is sounds like the college students, they're seeing them partaking in some risky behaviors, which may play a role in the behaviors that they're exhibiting, and then the living arrangements may be an issue. So it sounds like these are all things that we could work on to make the community better.
Yeah.
And a better place for the school children of the Bradford City community. So
Yeah, I wanted to add on to that, that we touched, I think, early on in the group was finding ways also to, I don't know if you answered that one, but bringing in, more relationship between the parents and the students, getting more involved with like them in school and how they're acting in school and helping them between school and home to keep that baseline of behavior so they can, achieve academically. It was another thing we talked about, going off of what Leslie said to wrap it up. I think we had a lot of great ideas, and we're going to take this and kind of deliberate it and kind of go from there. And we might ask you to come back if we need another focus group to come up with other ideas, or just tell you what we're planning on trying to implement in the future. So, thank you.
Thanks for coming, everyone. We appreciate your input.